And joining us now is the Vice President of Distribution Rates and Regulatory Requirements, Doug Horton. And Doug, good to see you here on the program.
Good to see you.
So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, what your responsibility is at Eversource.
Sure. So my responsibility and my team's responsibility is to set the rates that we present to our regulator for their approval that we charge to our customers.
You always hear the politicians in our state and some citizens saying that the rates in Connecticut are among the highest in the nation. Why is that?
Well, the main driver of it is the fact that we're at the end of the pipeline. And the reality is, as we're sitting here today, I'm here to talk about an increase that customers will see on their bill this coming July 1st. It's important to set the stage and have some context on what goes into your electricity bill and to know the key drivers. There are 4 main buckets of the bill. There's the infrastructure that we own and we operate, which is in the transmission portion of the bill and the delivery portion of the bill.
And those are the wires and everything that people see.
The wires, exactly, the infrastructure that we operate. Then there's the electric supply. We don't own or operate the generation, believe it or not. We purchase that power. We provide it through the infrastructure that we operate and charge to our customers without any markup or profit. That's roughly half of the bill. But the portion and the reason for the significant increase that's coming that we'll get to on July 1st is the 4th portion of the bill, the 4th bucket, which is for public benefit programs, which we administer on behalf of the state. We're required to administer these programs and then recover the costs for them through the public benefits portion of the bill. Like the supply side, we don't make money on that portion of the bill. That's usually around 10 to 15%, and there are various reasons why that's increasing significantly on July 1st.
Explain to me public benefits. What is that?
So those are programs that, again, the state is requiring us to enter into. The largest factor that's contributing to the increase on July 1st is for contracts that the state's required the utilities, both us and UI, to enter into for nuclear generation, where we were required to enter into fixed price contracts for the output of those facilities, and then again, through the legislation, entitled to collect the cost of those programs, or excuse me, those contracts.
And some of your colleagues have said this is largely avoidable. How could that be avoided?
So there are 2 main drivers within that component of the bill as to why we're sitting here facing what is a sizable increase for our customers that we would like to be able to avoid in the future. One is simply the fact that the cost of those contracts have increased. They're tied to the prices, market prices for energy. Those prices fluctuate, and so the costs also fluctuate. We pay the cost of the program like we have to under the contract and then collect it from our customers.
How much are they going up in July?
The rates overall are going to be going up for a residential customer about $44 a month, and 3/4 of that are the cost of these contracts that I'm talking about. But the entirety of the increase, 98% of the increase is going to be in that public benefits portion. But the other contributing factor is that the way that the rate making process has worked in recent years has caused a pileup of costs such that we haven't been allowed to implement rates in prior years that reflect the costs of those contracts. Our rates have been set lower such that we weren't able to collect the costs last year, and now we have sort of a double whammy for our customers where we have to collect the higher costs as well as the costs from last year.
In your judgment and the view of Eversource, could this be avoided if lawmakers take certain actions?
So we are, as a company and myself in my role, really focused on finding solutions, working with our regulators, legislative leaders, the Office of the Governor, our consumer advocate in the state, our regulator. A lot of this stuff is complex and can be a little bit dense to understand, and I get that. But we do see structural changes with the way these annual revenue adjustment processes work so that we don't have these wild swings in rates for our customers, so that the increases can be more predictable, steady and stable over time. We proposed about 6 ideas with our regulator that we're really hoping we can have some good solid discussions with those stakeholders on to find a better way for our customers.
Well, we thank you for your time. You are Doug Horton. He is the Vice President of Regulation, Requirements, and Distribution Rates. I got that backwards, didn't I? Distribution Rates and Regulatory Requirements. Does that fit in a business card?
I have to have a full page ad.
Thanks for being on the program. Next, meet a Yukon cardiologist turned author. And we invite you to connect with us here at This Week. Send us an email thisweek at WTNH.com. We're also on X, which is at Dennis House TV, and we're also on Instagram and Facebook.